Hello there, it's Gandalf here for another weekly update. So we're going to talk about indices as usual. We're going to talk about Chinese tech stocks this week, and some of the stocks that are, catching my eye, especially with the news with Alibaba this weekend. And then we're going to take a look at crypto again, as there's been some interesting moves in crypto, and just give an update since the last time we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. So let's get straight into the indices. So, I think with each market update, I think throughout this time, I've been telling you to be cautious. Um, and I'm going to say the same thing again, this week. And look, I around this area, I was expecting a deeper pullback. We did get a pullback like that in NQ to these levels, and I was looking for a similar thing with the S, and it didn't happen, right? What I did do in this area, I didn't buy. I've bought previous market dips in this run up. The first one I went hard on was here. I bought some here, I bought some there as well. I haven't bought these dips here. Look, I'm still riding a lot of stock from this area. I was in a lot of swing positions that I closed out. But what I did do in this area is just narrow down the stocks I was trading to a couple that I had high conviction on. For example, Google. I had extremely high conviction in Google in this consolidation. Just looked extremely bullish. All the fundamentals worked for me, and I caught this move, and I put a fairly big position here. So in the end, I had a great couple of weeks just trading one stock. So it was great, and when you think there's going to be volatility and a big pullback, and I did think there's going to be a big pullback, there's a couple of ways you can deal with that. One is try and go short if you've got a stock portfolio. If you're just trading options, try to look for puts. Or you can just, like I said, narrow it down to a couple of names. In this period for me, that worked really well. Just focusing on a stock like Google helped ensure that I ended this period in the green. So, and look, again this week, if my thoughts on the indices, I think you've got to be careful. Again, I told you to be careful here. I said, look, this could be a squeeze, it could be a trap. So just we had this breakout candle, you could have traded that, and there's some guys in the group, Timmy, that just made a killing off this huge move, and this was a pretty big move, from 7% in an index is a pretty staggering move. But the reason why I'm still cautious is this a real breakout? Is this a breakout where we do something like this? And what if it's a real breakout? What we'll have is a low volatility grind higher. It's going to look like this. It's going to look just like that. Nice low volatile grind, actually just like that, right? So is that the case here? And I'm just not so sure. Considering in this impulse wave we've done that, I'm just not sure if the market has the juice to do that right now. Without, that's why I want this pullback to these levels to be able to add fuel so that we can start to take the market to 4,400. But right now I just don't. We haven't. This isn't a pullback. This is just an oscillation, right? We haven't had a pullback yet. So my base case is still, until I'm proven wrong, which is getting close. I still think you got to be careful, and one of the reasons is as well. I think this is a short squeeze. I think we're capitulating shorts here. This isn't a breakout where people are buying for a nice 10-20% move higher in stocks. I think this is a short squeeze, and I remember seeing something similar here. We needed a pullback. We had this huge move. I just didn't think we had the juice to continue going higher. A lot of people went short here. There was some bearish divergence on RSI, and a lot of people went short, and we squeezed them. Went to the moon, and then had this huge pullback, the necessary pullback that we needed to continue going higher. And I feel like the same thing has happened here. We've had a peak, bearish divergence, and we did the same thing. We squeezed those that went short here. We squeezed them. So look, I think it's possible we could get something like that. I really do. We'll find out in the next few weeks. It doesn't mean it's going to happen this week, Um, you know, you usually, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we break out of this trend line, resisted trend line a little bit before kind of reversing. You know, that could happen. Could spend a week, you know, where first part of the week we're bullish and then end the week bearish and end in a weekly hammer candle or something like that. That is very possible. So anything's possible. What I do know is April's generally a positive month. So, you know, maybe we've got couple of weeks left in April. Maybe we just kind of hang out here for a couple of weeks, and then in May we have that pullback that we're looking for. May is typically a bearish month in stocks. You know, there is the saying, sell in May and go away. So, you know, that's a possibility. I just think you just keep trading day to day. We're in extreme levels. There isn't risk reward here to go aggressively long. So let's just, you know, protect your capital is what I would say. So that's my thoughts on the indices. So let's take a look at some individual stock areas that are interesting for me. And the area of the market that I'm interested in right now is Chinese tech. I've been watching the K-Web, which is a ETF that tracks some of the big Chinese tech stocks, and it's had a nice pullback. It's had this kind of huge move. It's pulled back pretty much all of that move, 32%. So nice pullback here. It's at the 200-day moving average. There's a lot of volume here. So I'm interested in looking at some Chinese tech stocks. This is it's been in this kind of price area for a long time, and it's just broken out. So we're retesting that breakout area essentially. A lot of it is news driven, worries of China cracking down on big tech. I just, right now we're in an arms race. We're in a technology arms race, and there's absolutely no way China is going to, cut the arms and legs off its top tier tech stocks. So I wasn't massively worried about this. I think it was a buying opportunity, which is why I've been buying Barber here. And it's come back right back to my entry. And I think there's another, now that we've had, China's fined Barber nearly $3 billion, which is not a fine to scoff at, but, Barber can handle it. And it's just so cheap. It's trading at 20 times next year's earnings, which is, that's a value stock. And this is a stock that's still growing revenues at 40%. It's in every mega trend you could hope for. This one is ready to absolutely rock it. So I'm going to be buying more stock. I'm going to look at options on this. I'm going to see what happens on Sunday night, tonight and tomorrow morning and the daytime. Anything can happen, right? I mean, I suspect we gap and we go. We could gap lower and go, or we could make, we could try and capitulate some longs before we bounce. I just think Barber now with that decision that China made and in punishing Barber, I think a lot of the risk is off the table, and I think institutions, investors are going to get back in Barber. So I like Barber. I like Tencent as well. Tencent's another bellwether Chinese tech stock, right at trend line, 200-day moving average. Looks really interesting here. Tencent's a great stock. Another one, JD.com, right at its 200-day moving average. Here's some old trend lines here that I've got. Broke down from the 50, which it was riding all the way up. It's at the 200 now. I think JD looks interesting here. I'm already in Baidu from the 175 level. I like Baidu quite a bit. I think it has some interesting technology, and this was a great opportunity to get into Baidu if you weren't already in. So I'm going to look at Chinese tech quite closely this week. I'll be focusing on Barber because it's just so cheap. We'll see what happens. Let's take a look at crypto because crypto is interesting. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, just if you want to know what my position is, I bought here around 7K. I actually held through this flash crash that happened. I had no stop. and I actually almost didn't even realize this actually happened, which is probably a good thing. So I'm in from 7K. I'm close to a 10 bagger on Bitcoin. I'm not thinking about selling yet. In terms of where we're at, I think the last time we talked about Bitcoin, it was around here, and my feeling was that we would range, and that's exactly what we did. We just chop around here, and that would be great for alts. And that has proven to be the case. It's been, at the start of the alt season in this nice little range area of Bitcoin. I do think Bitcoin is ready to potentially break out of this resistance. Remember, this is a resistance, so don't be surprised if Bitcoin starts to fall away. And if we break this support, we can start to get down to more demand areas, and this is where the demand is, the low 40s. But I do think there is this trend line, and look how similar it looks to ES here. I mean, we had a similar structure. I think we could short squeeze in Bitcoin as well, and I'm looking at the same area, this resistant trend line, so 67, 68K. I think that's your target, and if once it gets there, I may think about selling some Bitcoin up here. I think that could be a local top, and we make a move back to demand. Just like I think in ES, I think I don't see much higher than this. I don't see much higher than 68, 69K in Bitcoin. For the short term, I'm still bullish on the weekly. I still think this goes potentially to 6 digits. I just think maybe Bitcoin needs to kind of cool off here in an extended kind of range structure. So that's Bitcoin. Like I said, what's more interested in crypto is alts. One of the reasons why is the Bitcoin dominance. So this is a chart of the percentage that Bitcoin is in the market. In 2007, we got all the way down to 35%. And we just broke a key level, this kind of support level, this 38.2% retracement. And now we just broke that support. So this was a huge move in alts. And this is the start of an alt season, potentially. If we want this alt season to go absolutely bananas, then we want to see some levels. We want 50%, maybe 44%. Don't think we get back down here, personally, but there's still a lot of room, and still a lot of room for alts to go crazy. So some of the alts that I'm in, largest position is Ethereum. I'm still holding Ethereum from these levels, and I will continue to hold. Some more recent additions, Stellar, got in, let's look at the daily, got in around here, bought more here. Now we hopefully are looking to break out this peak 61 cent, and there's lots of upside targets in Stellar. So to be a bit cautious, this is a big resistance area. Let's just see how this plays out. One that I am in quite heavy right now, I think, is Atom, and let's take a look at Solana first. So take a look at this bad boy. Huge move. I mean, I missed this whole run up here. I thought about many times getting in around $4, $5, $6. I just never did, and totally missed this. And I said I'd get in on a pullback, and I did get in at around $13, and we have now more than doubled that entry. Huge move in Solana, and I think Atom looks pretty similar. I'm in Atom at $17. It looks to have just broken out of this resistance area. So to me, this looks like it could do something similar to Solana. So looking for some wild targets to the upside. So those are a couple of trending stocks that look higher. I'm also in kind of what I call catch-up plays. So I played IOTA, which is a catch-up play. I entered around here. This has now hit the Binance kind of first day trading on Binance peak. It's kind of pulling back from there. So I'm totally out of IOTA. There's other names that I'm looking for that to happen with as well. EOS is one of them. I'm looking for EOS to get back to $15, $16. Looks to have broken that trend line. There's a lot of volume that's come in. I think EOS can run. Neo is also similar. I'm in Neo here. So a couple of catch-up plays that I really like. There's others. Nano's another one that I'm in. That looks, actually this one is very similar. I noticed it looks similar to Stellar. And I think, kind of pull back to this supportive area, and I think Nano can do something similar to Stellar and get back to $8. So I'm in Nano. That looks pretty good. So just to be, every altcoin looks incredibly bullish, and it always does. When things are trending, it always looks bullish. But crypto does have a way of pulling the rug just as things look the best. So just be careful. I always tell people looking to invest in crypto not to use leverage. As if you use it smartly, you can do quite well with it. But as we start getting higher, just don't use leverage. Could have used leverage here maybe, but as we're trending to higher prices, just start to take profits. Don't forget to take profits in these coins. Is my number one advice in crypto, but it all looks pretty good to me. So that kind of ends the update for the week. Feel free to ask questions if you have them in the video, and good luck trading this week. Thank you.